So how about mammals? You might see white-tailed deer down here, raccoon, otter, muskrat, beaver. So quite an assortment of mammals that you might see down here. Fox squirrels, gray squirrels. How about birds? All sorts of birds, everything from water birds, of course, waders like great blue herons, sandhill cranes, green herons, to predatory birds like red-tailed hawks, perhaps a barred owl, to songbirds, beautiful ones like the cerulean warbler. Look that up if you have a chance. So a rich diversity of bird life down here. And of course they're attracted to this area because this is the Mississippi Flyway, that major flyway that goes down the center of our continent. Okay, I think I'm going to find a log here, and I'm just going to talk about one last thing. If you were to come back here in about a month, or perhaps two, you'd find that this area wasn't all dry and devoid of plant life. This would be a sheen of greenery. So I'm going to show you some of the typical plants that you might find here and how to identify them. So bear with me as I take a look through my photos here, and I'm going to show you some of those typical plants that you might find in this area, but more on the forest floor. Oh, one more tree I should have shared with you. I was looking for a good example, but not finding one just immediately. It's the riverbank grape, Vitis riparia. So you would see this as a vine growing on other trees. Some people dislike it, thinking that it's somewhat of a parasite. I don't dislike it. I guess I think of it as a plant that needs other plants and is as much a part of the landscape as any other. So that's the riverbank grape, or Vitis riparia. Now some of those plants that you'd find on the forest floor down here. This is a common one, the wood nettle. Its genus name is Laportia. It sounds like the door, Laportia. This is one that you wouldn't want to get into if you came down here later in the spring. If you look at this inset photo right here, you notice that the stems are strewn with tiny hairs, and each of the hairs has a small vesicle at the base that holds toxin. So when you brush up against it, you'd get a really nice rash. It grows about a foot tall, perhaps 2 feet tall, and if you look at the photo, it's got somewhat finely serrated leaves. That's the wood nettle, Laportia. There's another genus of nettles. Its genus is Urtica, or the common name is stinging nettle. You might have heard of this one as well. It often grows a little taller than wood nettle, and it's got that typical flail of flowers that you see in the center of the photo. The leaves are a little different as well, a little larger teeth, and you wouldn't mistake the stem because it's multi-edged, and it's really full of those same sort of stinging hairs. That's the stinging nettle, or Urtica is the genus. At first glance, this looks like another nettle, but it's not. It's a very fine plant. You wouldn't get in trouble touching it. It's called clearweed. The genus is Pilea, and it's well named. You can kind of see from the inset photo that the stem is somewhat translucent. I wouldn't say transparent, but translucent. And it's just a very common, very typical forb, flowering plant, forb, that you'd find in the Florida and the floodplain forest. The last one I'm going to share with you is one of my favorites. It's called jewelweed, or If you know the plants of your garden at home, it's called impatiens. That's actually its genus name, impatiens. This is the orange spotted jewelweed, very well named. When I was a boy, I used to think it looked somewhat like a French horn. It was speckled on the bell. Just a beautiful plant. One of the nice things about it is that you can squish its rather translucent stems and you can abate the stinging rash from your stinging nettle. So remember that next time you get into trouble with things like wood nettles or stinging nettles or perhaps poison ivy. Jewelweed is your way to get around that. It's a free way to kind of calm and salve that itching rash. Jewelweed or impatiens. So that's the Floodplain Forest. Gorgeous place. I'm going to leave you now. I hope you enjoyed our first travel out into one of the forests of the Hastings area. I'll be back on another video and we'll learn about one of the other special forests that we're pleased to have in the Hastings area. Have a great day.